So we are going to continue our read aloud with hero dogs. Black, white, and red, a Dalmatian history. In the late 1600s, Dalmatians were popular coach dogs. When their owners traveled, the dogs trotted beside the carriages. They helped to soothe the horses and be on the lookout for robbers. Dalmatians were also used by firefighters in cities. They were like sirens. A Dalmatian would run ahead of the horse-drawn fire engine barking. The engine's red color and the dog's loud barking were a warning out of the way, fire ahead. As the firefighters dealt with the blaze, the dog would stay close to calm the horses. Today's fire trucks don't have horses, but many are still red, and sometimes a Dalmatian rides proudly inside, often headed to a safety presentation rather than an actual fire. Saving lives. Chapter 2. It was a sunny day at a park in Los Angeles. Children clapped as they watched Wilshire. Adults talked and smiled. There were many distractions, but Wilshire stayed focused on his important work. He and Ryan were doing their special show on fire and life safety. Ryan put some props on the stage and Wilshire was ready. He knew what to do with each one. Wilshire obeyed each of Ryan's verbal commands. Wilshire activated a smoke alarm. He crawled under a wooden model of a fire to show the crowd how to get low and go in case of a fire. He pressed the buttons on a phone with his nose to show how to dial 911. This is an important phone number to remember for an emergency. People were amazed at Wilshire's next trick. They watched as the spotted dog suddenly stopped moving and stood very still. He then dropped to the ground, stretched out, and rolled. He was showing the crowd what to do if their clothes caught on fire. Stop, drop, and roll. Everyone clapped. After the show, the children got into a long line. They wanted to pat Wilshire and take a photo with him. They wanted to look closely at his silver firefighter badge. Wilshire wanted to meet them too. He wagged his tail as he greeted each child. Ryan knows that Wilshire is a good teacher. He helps kids remember important safety tips. It's easy to forget when you read something, but when a dog shows you each tip, it stays in your mind. Wilshire's presentation is fun, said Ryan. Kids love watching and learning from him. Wilshire often helps Ryan teach health and fitness too. If people eat unhealthy foods and don't get enough exercise, they may become overweight. Then they may suffer from health problems. Wilshire eats some fruits and vegetables to show how to make healthy food choices. He lifts a pretend barbell or weight to show the importance of working out. Ryan tells people that Wilshire runs on a treadmill at the fire station for 20 to 30 minutes a day. He exercises every morning with his firefighter friends. Go, Wilshire. Although Wilshire usually doesn't help to fight the fires, he likes to travel in the fire truck. Says Ryan, what dog wouldn't love a ride with the lights flashing and the sirens blaring and the wind in his face? Once Wilshire and Ryan were coming back from giving a talk at a school. Suddenly their truck got a call. There was a fire. The firefighters quickly put on their gear as the truck raced to the scene. When we arrived, said Ryan, we saw smoke coming from the building. They jumped off the fire truck, grabbing ladders, tools, and the hose needed to put out the fire. Wilshire stayed in the truck with the windows rolled up. He was barking like crazy, said Ryan. He wanted to help. Ryan and other firefighters put out a fire on a stove in one of the apartments. No one was hurt. The smoke alarms had warned everyone to leave the building. All right, so we know that this is what kind of text? We know that this is what kind of text, Bella?
Informational text.
We know it's informational text because, like we talked about before, it's teaching us what? It's teaching us what? What is it teaching us about? Tristan, what's it teaching us about?
Dogs.
Not just dogs, but it's teaching us, so far we've read about one dog.
Wilshire.
Wilshire, right? So far we've read about Wilshire. And he was the firefighter dog, right? He was the protector of the people. So in this chapter, right, in this one, we learned about how he was a pesky pup, how he got into everything, and kind of how he came about to the fire station. Then, when we just read this one, Saving Lives, what was kind of the topic? What was kind of the main idea of what they were going over with this one? What was it telling you about? Katya, what was it telling us about?
What to do whenever there were a fire.
What to do when there's a fire. It also was telling us who does. Who's the main kind of person we're learning about? Grace, who is it telling us about? And what he does?
It's telling us about the firefighters and the dog.
Okay, it's telling us about the firefighters and the dog. And it's telling us about Wilshire, right? It's telling us what he does. It's telling us what are the different things he teaches kids. So we know that he's teaching these kids, he's teaching students how to stop, drop, and roll, how to listen to a fire alarm, how to dial 911. It's giving us what I like to call details, right? So if we think about we know that this is, so our main idea is that Wilshire teaches others what to do in case of a fire. Well, what are those details? It told us, I just told them to you. What are the things? Let's see if we can name 3. What are 3 of the different things that he teaches students in his presentations? What's one of them? What's one of the, there's like 4 things that they named. What's one of them? Grace, what's one of them?
Stop, drop, and roll.
He teaches them stop, drop, and roll. What's another one? Yes, Dimitri. Tristan, what's another one?
How to dial 911.
How to dial 911. Dial 911. What else? Isabella, what's another one?
How to listen to a fire alarm.
How to listen for a fire alarm. Okay, Camila, you remember another one?
No, but you misspelled how you said had to call 911.
Oh, oops. Thank you. How to dial 911. I was not paying attention. How to dial 911. How to listen for a fire alarm, and then stop, drop, and roll. All right. So these are just some of the details. So in each of our subheadings, which I'm going to tell you what that means in a second, we have a main idea and we have details, okay? So now let's move into our reading lesson.